Hi everybody, I have a ragdoll tutorial to share with you today. For this project, you'll need some wool, a pair of scissors, some muslin in different shades for the different skin tones, as well as some print fabric. We're just using some calico fabric. And to begin with, you want to measure out about 24 inches of your muslin, and this will be for the base of the ragdoll as well as the head. So just want to trim that off, and we don't need it quite this wide, so we're going to be cutting a few strips off in order to use them for the arms and the braids. So your final measurement should be about 4 inches by 24 inches, but this is a ragdoll. You can make it as big or as small as you'd like. The next thing we want to do is work on the head, and we're just going to use a little bit of wool for this, but if you don't have wool, you can use some cotton balls. You just want to separate them a little bit and kind of bulk it up. Just going to put that right in the center, and we're going to use one of those strips of fabric to tie it off. Now at this point it looks a little bit like a ghost, but don't worry, we're going to work on the arms next. For the arms, you just want to use 3 strips of fabric, approximately about an inch wide and about as long as you want your arms to be. So I just quickly measured how long I wanted that fabric to be before I braided it. And then you just want to trim off the edges, and to tie this to the doll, we're just going to use that extra fabric that we use in order to make the head, and now we can just tie those arms in place. And I just trimmed off the excess, and now we can work on the dress. So the dress needs to be a little bit shorter than the whole ragdoll because it only needs to go from the neck down. So this piece is about 4 inches wide, and you just want to fold your fabric over a couple of times and then just clip right in the center where the neck is going to be. You want to make sure this is a really small hole, otherwise your dress will fall off of the ragdoll's shoulders, and then you just want to work the head through that little opening. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of that wool batting to the body of the ragdoll, but this is optional. You don't need to do this, but you will want to tie off your dress whether you stuff the doll or not. That just kind of gives it some definition. The last thing we want to do is add a little bonnet to the ragdoll. Now you could also add hair if you wanted to, but if you want to just keep it simple, we're just going to add a little bonnet, and to keep it in place, we're just going to use a little bit more of that fabric. We're just going to kind of wrap that extra fabric around her neck like it's a little scarf or shawl, and I'm just going to put a bow in the back of her dress using that extra fabric that we used to tie off the middle. And that's all there is to it. If you wanted to add some more details, you could. My daughter did want one with braids, so we made one with braids, and then later she wanted one that was smaller and one that was a baby. So I'll let you take a look at these other ones that we made here. We made them in the green fabric, and here's another mom that has braids, and then I made a baby here. That was just kind of a rolled up bit of muslin with a little bit of wool inside of it, and I just tied it off. And then I also made a smaller girl, and I really like the way that this one turned out, and I like her braids and everything. So together my girl has a nice little family of ragdolls. Don't forget, you can get all of the measurements on my website at pepperandpine.com.